All right, good morning, all, and welcome in. It is House Edge Live, now dual streaming on Casino Gaming TV and Casino Gaming Central. I got to go on both channels this week. We'll probably go to just Casino Gaming Central starting next week. And something you might notice new, if you look over, there's the ATS guy, Todd Preston, baby, nice job. I'll tell that story in a minute, but Todd had a table-saving throw the other night. Anyway. You'll notice that if you're on the ProCrap side, the old ProCrap side, which is now Casino Gaming Central, if you're watching on Casino Gaming TV, great. If you're on the other channel, you'll see in the chat, at the bottom of the chat now, you'll see the donation thing. So you can not only super chat the host during the show with how much you love me, but you can donate right to a charity. And I'm picking a new charity every so often. We'll do Veterans Moving Forward, as always. We'll do Craps for the Kids this week. Which is money going to St. Jude's for the kids. So, and as you know, St. Jude's, I try and hunt down charities that I like because I used to be in the fundraising business, by the way, a long time ago. And I got to witness firsthand just how, not shady, but how much money doesn't go to where it's supposed to go, right? Some charities like St. Jude's, like Charity Water, like Veterans Moving Forward, all your donation goes to the thing, right? That's Moving Forward. We raise those dogs. The money goes to the freaking dogs, right? St. Jude's goes to the families and the kids for the cancer. Charity Water goes right into well building. So these charities mean a lot to me, and I try and pick ones that I think when you donate, it goes right in. Google takes zero of that. Yes, for sure, Duracell. We'll get to them as well. Google takes zero off of these. So that's one nice thing about using Google's donation form is that it goes, they're just a pass through, which is kind of cool. So anyway, here we are on the new channel, and I'm happy to get the show finally restarted again. And let's jump into it. I have a new thing that I want to start my shows with every day, and it's kind of a gentle, not so gentle reminder of why we're here. Never forget this, okay? And I want to make this as clear as I can because, as you know, I've got relationships with casinos, right? I work with Casino Quest, and we're partnering with them. But make no mistake about it, the difference between a casino and a regular business is the relationship between the business, in this case the casino, and the customer, which is you. That relationship is oppositional. It's not communal at all. You go to Target, you give money, you get clothes or food or whatever. You go to any store, you exchange money for a thing that you can use, right? Food, whatever it's going to be. The casino exists to take your money, okay? They are on, and I saw this on a video last night I was watching on sports betting, and the guy framed it perfectly. He's like, the casinos have two outcomes for you. Two. The two outcomes for you are to ban you from playing because you're too good. Sports bettors fall into that category more often than anybody else does, right? Or bankrupt you. That's it. Ban or bankrupt. That's their thing, right? So again, I may be building an app that's partnering with them a little bit to get some ad money coming through, that kind of whatever. Make no mistake. They're there. They exist to take your money and give you nothing in return. Nothing in return. A good time. Okay, whatever. You get a good time in return. There's no, by the way, I didn't pick for my new logos a military theme on accident. Like, I look at this like we're at battle as players, right? So no, I don't do, for those of you who wonder, strategy videos if you're new to my channel. I don't do strategy videos anymore. I'll show you the ways that I play. I will put them out. Here's the 5 or 6 ways that I actually do things at the tables. But I'm not going to be like Jeremy or Ryan or other guys that put out a bunch of strategies. It's not my thing, right? My thing is to prepare you for the battle, to get you ready to go to the casino with whatever strategy you want to play, but do this kind of stuff right here. Understand what your bankroll is capable of doing. Understand how to play leveraged plays. Understand how to handle loss. Understand how your risk profile marries that, right? You cannot go in with a mismatched risk profile, high risk, low risk person with a high or low bankroll and get it wrong and have any kind of a chance to survive, profit, or have any kind of a decent time when you're there. You got to be able to identify opportunities to leave, to lean in. You have to have discipline to survive. You have to have discipline to get out when the getting's good, whether it's good or bad. You got to have discipline to kind of assert that. And you better damn well know your goal before you go in there. You cannot go to a casino without a goal. That goal might be to lose all my money. Okay, whatever. That goal could be win 10%. We're going to talk a little bit about percentages today, a little bit, because I get a little ticked off a lot of times when I put challenges out there. For example, I've put out the 10% challenge, right? Take $100 to the casino, win 10%, win $10, right? And come home. I dare you to try that. Do it 30 days. You cannot call yourself a winning advantage professional player until you can pull that move off. And everybody goes, oh my God, I'm not driving 30 miles for $10. It's not about the $10. It's about the process of going through it, right? People don't like talking percentages. Percentages are where it's at, right? But everybody says, oh, if I'm buying in for $150 or $200, it's not worth my time to win 20 or 30 or 40 or $50. Well, then I will tell you this, don't go to the fucking casino with $200. If the money's what matters to you, not the percentage win, then don't go to the casino with $200. You're putting yourself in harm's way by doing that. So there's a little bit of reality check that has to happen. And I'll do some shows where I dig deep into that, but that's an important piece for folks to remember. Now, on to the fun talk, because Saturday night, Ian Olson, who's out there in chat. Where's Ian? Ian, say hello to everybody. There he is. I'll put his back up again. There's Ian. Ian is he's a great friend of mine, by the way. I met Ian years ago. He's such a good guy. Really good friend. And he has a good relationship with the casino host, or a pit boss rather, out at one of our favorite casinos, Snoqualmie, here in Seattle, the Seattle area, and got us a private group. Now we have a group of people who play in our area, about 15 to 20 people that kind of play regularly. I used to play with them all the time when I was over there, until I moved into the sticks. Anyway, Ian's got he can make a phone call and get us a private table, right? So we had a nice group, 18 people showed up. We had a great time at Snoqualmie Casino, who just finished their hotel, by the way, and it's a beautiful hotel. It overlooks the falls, and it's amazing. Anyway, Todd Preston, we already kind of spilled the beans, the ATS guy. Todd, by the way, this table, as always, right? You get a bunch of people together, and everybody's all, warmed up and ready to rock and roll and throw these great hands. It was like the first 7 guys that threw, and gals, not 1 point got hit. Not 1 point. Nobody hit a freaking point. Couple 2-3 hits out. 2-3 hits out. Nothing. No. I was trying to do a little bit of GM spin, right? I was trying to do a little bit of 44 inside. I was buying them for kind of low. 44 inside. Press. Bring it down, right? Couldn't even get the bring down, right? Couldn't get 2 or 3 consecutive hits. And we're like, oh my God! And here comes Todd, right? And we're like, okay, well, somebody's got to save this table. And we were joking. Me and Todd and Ian were standing side by side. I'm like, somebody's going to save this fucking table, right? Todd's like, I got you. Don't worry about it, right? 36 rolls later, he's hit 3 points, the ATS, the whole thing. Everybody's going crazy. And then he hands it off to Ian. And what happens every time somebody hits the ATS, right? And then it goes back to being crap again. Ian comes back with, I think, a tall right away, right? And then, of course, I PSO and champion of the free world over here, right? But it was good. Brought the table back, saved the table, as it were, because everybody was getting killed, and he had a great throw and saved the table. Thanks, Todd, for that. And then Ian followed it up with a big one, so it was awesome. Anyway, that was fun. It was a good weekend. So we had that. Ian, with the great hospitality again. Thank you to you and your wife and your father-in-law. And yeah, got home yesterday. Got to watch the Seahawks destroy Atlanta. That was great. The Birds got to come through tonight. It'll make it a good weekend. So yeah. It was all ready, set, go, and good. Now, what I want to talk about today, lecture time, is this: the 5-count fallacy. Now, I got this email from a subscriber. I'm not going to say names, but he asked me, because I made mention last week about, I forget what it was I was talking about last week, but anyway, it triggered him to want to email me and say, hey, John, you've said in the past you don't like the 5-count. Why? I've saved a lot of money by the 5-count. And I'll say this. Craig's here. By the way, I forgot to mention, Craig and Chris had Lou on last night. So Louis was also here this morning. I watched about the first half of your podcast this morning over coffee. So I'll finish it up today. I'll talk more about it tomorrow. But again, full of chips. Craig, Chris, and this week's special guest, Lou. Go watch that. Anyway, the 5-count fallacy to me is this. The Golden Touch group put this out. And how do I say this politely? I don't think it's a good way to play. Let's just say that. I don't think it's a good way to play, or a good advice to give. I know what they're maybe subconsciously Dom and Frank at Golden Touch thought this was a good idea to talk about waiting 5 rolls and then going in, qualifying the shooter, qualifying a random shooter. There's a bunch of statements wrong with that. Well, number one, let's classify you as people, right? There are some of you who think dice influence is complete BS and doesn't work. There are some of you who think it's the only way to do it. There's some of us in the middle that are like, well, I'm not going to bet $1 billion based on how great I can throw, but if I can be okay and it makes my day better, then fine, right? A lot of us are kind of running that middle ground, but the Golden Touch people are, it works and that's it. They're just like, everybody else is a rando, a randy, a random person. So this is a way to qualify a random person. In other words, if they throw 4 or 5 box numbers, I think they can do like 5 throws after the point, whatever the hell the rule is, right? Then you can bet, and you can bet 1 come bet. That's the 5 count. What they say, wait 5 rolls, then bet once. Even Bo Parker, who I love and respect, will say the same sort of thing, right? 1 count to everybody. Let somebody establish a number, roll a number, and then you're free to bet. At least get past the PSO. Don't let the PSO kill you, right? Is what he says. Golden Touch, get through 5 rolls. I would say this. If it's a random roller that you're trying to quote unquote qualify, you can't do it because you can't qualify random. If a guy's just shaking and baking and throwing, no matter what he does from throw to throw, there's zero consistency there. You can't, he's not capable of doing anything other than not throwing the dice at a person. That's what they're capable of, keeping them in the rig, right? That's it. Can't qualify a random person. So I think that's number one thing. Let's stop saying qualify the shooter because you can't. Random rollers are not capable of hitting points today. It's either their day or it's not, and you don't know what you're getting with anybody, right? Even a qualified great shooter, right? And we all know some, right? Then, okay, maybe you want to qualify. I get that. Make sure that they're on their game today. I can have that discussion with you. I can't have that discussion with a random shake and bake roller. There's nothing to qualify there. Now, the 5 count itself says wait for 5 rolls and then go in, because the average shooter throws about 3.5 to 4 box numbers per point, 8.5 total rolls. We've seen this with Matt from Dice Data a billion times. He says this all the time. Here's the thing. The math works in 2 directions. Okay. It works in the future and it works in the present. And that's it. Okay. In the present, 1 out of every 6 rolls is a 6, 16.67% chance. The next roll has a 1 out of 6 chance of being a 7. Shit runner go blind. That's the deal. There's no changing that unless you're a amazing DI and you can make it a 1 in 5. Good for you. If you can do that, then fantastic. Write me a letter. I'll come meet you. Right? Let's go play. For everybody else, it's a 1 in 6. It doesn't matter if you have thrown 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 30 times before you're about to pick the dice up right now. It does not matter. It's a 1 in 6 chance that this roll is going to be a 7. Period. End of story. That never changes. Whether you wait for 1, wait for 2, wait for 3, or wait for 5, it does not matter. That chance doesn't change. It never changes. And I was telling somebody yesterday about people coming in staggered, right? Somebody playing now and somebody waiting 5 rolls and coming in and whatever, right? It doesn't matter when you hop onto a table. Let's say the guy's on the 25 rolls and he hits the point, you buy in. I've seen people say don't buy in when the guy's in the middle of a roll, like not even when the puck's off. Puck's off, on, doesn't matter. Guy's on 24 rolls, puck goes off, he hits a point. You shouldn't buy in and play because he's getting closer to the 7, right? Closer to the 7. You're never closer to the 7. It's not like the dice know, oh shit, it's been 8.5 rolls. I better start getting closer to 7s. Doesn't happen that way. Every roll is the same. Every roll is the exact same. Now your odds change. If you're going to bet it from the beginning, that's the second set of numbers here. You got 24 ways to win in the box if you're betting across, right? 4 to 1, 80%. We've been through the math before, right? 80% chance to win on roll one. Now, if you say to the casino, look, I will bet you 160 for 35 that we can get one roll. Casino takes that bet all the time, right? Why? 8 out of 10 times, you're going to win 35 bucks. 2 out of 10 times, you're going to lose 160. That's 320 versus like 240 or whatever the hell. They're going to make money every time on that. They'll take that bet all day long. And they do, and we give it to them. This is why the hold on tables is so big, right? If you say to the casino, you know what? I'm going to bet 160 against 70 that you can get, or shooter's going to get 2 rolls before that 7 comes. The casino takes that bet all the time. You'll win 70 bucks, right? 6 times, and you'll lose the 160 the 4 times, right? There's a 64% chance the shooter can do that. If you run down the list, the 5 count puts you in at roll number 6, right? You're saying there's a 33% chance that somebody throws 5 times without a 7. That's what the real numbers are, by the way, if you do the math on it, right? It's 80% times 80% times 80%, whatever. 33% shot that somebody can get to the 5th roll. That's why it's kind of hard, by the way. If you bet it ahead of time and say, look, I will bet you, casino, I will bet you 135 bucks or 160 to win 135 that somebody can get to 5 rolls, they'll take the bet. They'll take the bet. With the 7, it's the same thing. I'll bet you, that you can't roll 3 7s in a row. Future betting is different than present betting. So these numbers that people spout out about how hard it is to get 5 in a row, that's if you bet it ahead of time and you lock in a contract bet, 160 to win X, and I'll see you in 5 rolls. You are betting right now, right here with your money that you can take off the table. Every roll is independent. And I think it's very, very important to realize that every roll is independent. So the 5 count, to me, all it does is delay the inevitable. You're going to get planked by a 7 at some point if you're a right side player. You don't know when it's going to happen. If you get to 5, you missed out on 5 hits, right? Sure, if the person 7's out on roll 3, 4, and you go, I'm a hero, I saved my money, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When your money is out there, it always has a 1 out of 6 chance to get beat. Always. It doesn't matter. I had this conversation with mathematicians before. If you said, I'm going to wait 5 rolls and turn my bets on, and then off. I'm going to wait 5 rolls, turn my bets on, and then turn them off. Wait 5 rolls, and repeat that. Every 5th roll, you're going to go on for 1 hit and come down. It doesn't matter. That roll that you're on for is a 1 in 6 chance. If you do that same move 6 times, 1 out of every 6 of the times you're on, you're going to get beat. That's how math works. You can't change that over time. What you can do is capitalize on the chances that you've got. When your money is out there, play it right, bet it strong, use discipline, and get off the table when you're out there. I don't think it's worth it to wait. Even though on my roll the other night, I went out there 110 inside, pass line, max odds, and the ATS, and I fucking PSO'd. It happens. It happens. 1 out of every 6 times I throw, on average, I do that to myself. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's a random game. But I think waiting, I might have felt like a hero if I had protected myself, but in the reality of it is, I had a 1 in 6 chance of that throw or the next throw making it happen. Right? And there you go, Gary. I tried the 5 count, and on the 7 shooters in a row, 7 out in the 6. The 7 will find you. It'll just find you. It just is what it is, right? You can't fight it. All you can do is on every roll that's not a 7, make some money on it. Either use it as leverage or take it to the rack. That's the way you can win at this game or not get destroyed. You got to take advantage of every non-7. That's it. That's it. I can't make it any easier for you than that. Yeah, I do not do the superstitious thing. Now, one thing I do sometimes is, for example, when Todd hit the ATS the other night, and I, by the way, I shouldn't let the cat out of the bag. I have a secret. Ian knows my secret. I have a secret way to fix the ATS. Can we talk about this? Why do I hate the ATS? I hate the ATS because it's a bleed, number one. But more importantly, I hate it because it's a time suck. It takes so long when the 7 comes on the come out rolls to sweep and rebet and get it all right. It takes forever, right? I have a way to fix it. I actually have a way. I thought of it the other night with Ian. I'm like, dude, that's going to fix the ATS. I might play it now. But yeah, there's a way to fix the ATS. So yeah, superstitiously, to go back to your question, Tom, when Todd hit the ATS, I turned my bets off because it took 15 or 20 minutes to pay everybody. It took so long to get everybody paid. I'm like, oh my God, you know what I mean? And like, that's the one time I'll be like, okay, just let him have a roll here, right? And what I did was on that roll in particular, and just so you know, I took the aggressive approach on Saturday. So I started at 44 in, okay, on almost every shooter. And I'm like, I'm not going to press and regress. I'm just going to, I'll do a system. I did a double tap basically that I could press, collect, and I'm out, right? I had my 5 up to $150 on him on that roll. From a $10 5 to 150, which is great. What I did on him though, I turned my bets off and I hopped the 5. It was the one I had the biggest money on. I hopped the 5 and he actually threw a 4-1-5 on my hop. I had a $10 hopping 5. So I made money on him anyway on that roll. I will do that. I will turn off after the ATS just because of the time. And I'm just like, it just feels like that happens to me. But no, I don't do the other stuff. I don't do the one count really. I don't do the, now, I mean, dice off table, all that stuff. One thing that Bo Parker does have me convinced to do though is I do take a 1 count when I have a dice setter with me. Okay, so let's take Holly for example. Holly's one of our better shooters, right? She's amazing. She's a golden touch. She's amazing shooter and a really cool person, by the way. Holly's at the end, and she sets her dice right, and she's doing her thing, and she's hitting 6, 8, 9. She's hitting her stuff right, and then she pops out a 2. And she went like that, okay? And then she looked at her dice, and she gripped them, and she reset them, and then she threw an 11. Well, I turned my bets off, right? She's trying something, and she doesn't like what she's seeing. I'll let her figure that out before I turn the bets back on. I waited to see a box number again and before she looked right. That I can understand. That's less superstition and more believing in somebody's ability to do a thing and them not doing the thing in the moment. That's a different story to me than superstition. So, all right. Yeah. Todd says you're welcome. Thanks. That's awesome. Yeah. Discipline does not overcome house edge, by the way. We should make sure that's clear. It does. You can't overcome the house edge. You just can't. Right. But if you win, and here's the thing, right? Let's take a look at the numbers on screen, right? The across better has an 80% chance to win. Now let's take a look at what I'm going to give you math here, right? I'm going to add it up. 160 times 2, I'll do the calculator, times 2 is $320, right? If you win 80% of the time, 8 out of 10, and lose 2 out of 10, you're going to lose $320. If you win your $35 times 8, it's $280. $280 is what you expect to win if you're winning an 80% clip. You're going to lose $320 on the 20% that you're going to get beat on, if math holds true. Right? To lose point about discipline. How does discipline change that? It doesn't overcome house edge, but this doesn't mean you're going to win 8 in a row, then lose 2 in a row. If in those 10 times, those 10 shooters, the 2 can come in the middle. It can be your first one, whatever. If you can win 8 before you lose 2 and you stop playing in that session, for that session, your discipline will allow you to win. Because what that means is you're going to have whatever, 35 times 8 is 280 minus 160. You'll be up 120 versus being down, whatever that was, 160 or something, right? That's the difference in it. Discipline says if I get my 8 wins before I get 2 losses, tap out. You've beat the math that day. That session, you came out ahead. Discipline says walk the hell away, right? If you can average, because of your great shooting, 90% or 85% wins. If you average 90%, by the way, if you can get 9 box numbers out of 10 or 9 times out of 10 instead of 8 times out of 10, you're an advantage player. That's where you flip the bit. That's why guys try so hard because 9 times 35, 9 times 35 is what 315, right? 9 times 35 is 315. So you'd be 315 minus 160, you're a 155 advantage play. If you're getting 9 out of 10 instead of 8 out of 10, that's why guys practice, right? But otherwise, this is what you're fighting. This is what you're fighting. And you have to understand it. The 5 count won't save you from the 1 out of 6. It just doesn't. So just get that thought out of your head. Now, I want to jump ahead really quick. We got about 5 or 6 minutes left in the show. So I do want to talk about leverage a little bit today. And I think I'm going to lean into this a little more often, get my stuff out the way here, a little more often, because the more I do this show, the more I make friends and talk to people, the more I realize the mistakes of my youth, right? The grind war, 9-finger Joe's here. That's great. The grind of my youth is a real thing. You can grind at different levels, real thing. But I think understanding leverage is also a key thing. Now, let me show you something. I'm going to bring up my rack here. We're going to set my rack up in a special way. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to do just a couple of shooters here. We're going to go 130. See, 130. We'll do 3 shooters of 130. All right. And I'll put the rest bye-bye. There's 3, I think I got 3 130s, right? 130, 130, 130. There's the rest of this can just go to the wayside. Now 130 is going to be my, I'm sorry, I'm trying to clean my rack here a little bit. And I want to talk to you a little bit about leverage. And this is going to be a talk based on a couple of videos that I have watched that I think you should watch. One of them is actually 2 from Jacob at Wager Me This. Great friend of mine, good guy. One of the smartest minds, by the way, in craps, I would say. Jacob is a big believer in 2 things, and I think he's spot on. One is going to be this idea of using your wins to increase your bet sizes. And I'm not talking about pressing. And I'll show you what I mean in the rack here in just a second. He's also a big believer, as am I. Bigger bets make bigger money, right? I'm okay with percentage wins. I'm okay with going in there for $300 and winning 100 and calling it a 30% go home. I'm cool with that, right? A lot of people aren't. A lot of people say $100 wasn't worth my time, and I'm like, well, you brought 300. You should have thought about that before you bought him for $300, right? But Jacob also is leaning in now this idea of bigger bets make more meaningful wins. So if your brain is going to be stuck on this idea that I need to make more money than a higher percentage, then you need to be betting with bigger money. That's his point. I saw that. I told you that video I saw on that one roulette channel or the one math channel where the guy was like, hey, if you have $100 on red and somebody else is putting $10 on red, but they have unlimited money, who's going to win $100? Who has a better chance of winning $100? The guy with $100 has a 50-50 shot at it, effectively. The guy with $10 on it will never get it. He has like a 2% chance of winning $100. He has to win 10 more times than he loses at $10. It's almost impossible to win $100 with $10 bet sizing. It's almost impossible. You got to increase your bet sizes to make more money. So let's take a look at my rack. I've got three slots, 3 shooters worth, 3 cracks at 110, right? 130. And the 130 is this, right? It's 110 inside with a 410 kicker. Okay. Now the 410 kicker are only there because of FOMO, right? These are not great bets. They're good bets, right? But really you're focusing the inside. This is just here so you get some juice on the outside while you're playing around. But really, if you think about these bets, and what I'm trying to accomplish here is this. Instead of saying shooter 1, shooter 2, shooter 3, I'm saying, let's see how long that 110, how many times can I use the same 110? And can I do better with it? Now, let me show you something. Let's do a little bit of a pretend game. I'm going to pretend that it works, and then I'm going to spin the wheel of death, and we'll probably lose our money. But let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's say that we pull a move off, and I don't care what move you pull off. This is why I say I don't care about strategies anymore. Whatever strategy you want to play, whether it's GM spin, whether it's duck and cover, whether it's a skill set, I don't care what you play. If you're out of the hand, if you got your money back in a couple, 2, 3 hits, that's the person I'm talking to. I'm going to show you today duck and cover, a way that I like to play. But it could be anything. What I'm going to do here could be anything. Let's just take the wins. $35. Doesn't matter what the point was for, who cares? Let's say it was the 9 for 35. I'm going to take the 10 and put it back out there and take $50 back. The next green level hit that I get, whatever it's going to be, let's say it's the 5. The 5 hits, it comes down, looks like 10, and I've got $100 in the rack. I'm out for 130. Okay. I have a decision to make. I can say, I'll take one more green hit. I'll wait it out. Maybe the 6 or the 8 comes. If it does, it's 35. And there's my 130 with a little bit of profit. Okay. I could take a red hit at $15 and be, well, close enough. There's my 110 in. My 4 and 10 cost me $5. I can take them down and keep going if I want to. I have all the choices, and I don't care about the choices that you make. Okay. What I care about is this, which is the next hit. Okay. Let's put this right. This one. Is that right? Yeah. Now it's right. I pulled back the $50 twice, and here we are. Okay. So on the next hit, let's just say it's a 6 or 8. Okay. Let's just say it was 6 or 8, and it pays $35. 25, 35. Okay. Whatever your next move is, you're going to work over here. Now watch this. I'm going to show you what Ian does. Ian drops a buck out of his rack. He's got a stack of whites over here. I'm just going to put them on this side, right? He drops a buck and says, make my 6 and 8 look like 18 each. There's $36. There's $35 win, plus his buck is 36. These come back to the rack. Now a 6 and 8 are $18 each. Now again, this is a strategy, which I said I wasn't going to do. But the point of it is, it doesn't matter what you do, get out of the hand. And when you're out of the hand, now it becomes a leverage play. And here's the hats off to Jacob from Waging Me This. The leverage play is this. Here's my 100, 25, 130. That's me getting my money back, right? Effectively, you could do this. I'm out of the hand. Here's the money back in the rack. I'm even. That's profit. I've preached on this a million times, right? That's profit. That's profit. But what we're going to do here is this. 130 plus my profit on this shooter. As the roll goes, whatever you're doing out here, let's say the 9 hits for 15 for 1 on a 9. And you say, you know what? Press it by 1 and take 10 back. Or let's say the 5 hits and you're going to be a degenerate like me, and the 5 hits for $14 and you drop $1. You say, you know what? Make that 5 a quarter. And then make it a quarter. You can do either one. Doesn't matter. Or you can just say, whatever, 6 and 8 hit for $21. Great. Same bet it. Cool. Bring the money back, right? As you fill this side of your rack, okay, and the 7 eventually comes, and it will take whatever's out there. What have you done? You got your next spread covered, right? There's your 130. And you've got excess. You've got 25, 35, 40, right? What can I do with this excess? Well, this is where the leverage play comes in. Take the 110 you were going to risk anyway, but add some juice to it, right? Let's have the 5 and 9 look like 35 each. Let's actually take an extra buck out and make the 6 and 8 $18 higher each. So $36. Make them both look like 48. Okay? So go out there effectively for the same 110 you started with. The same 110 is at risk, but now you've said my first couple of hits are going to be way more awesome, because when the 9 hits now and it pays 50 for 1 and it looks like 10, I brought back $75 instead of $50 like I did on the first shooter. And if a 6 or 8 hits, 48 pays 54. We'll pay 55 for 1, right? And that number now comes down to 12. I brought back now 75 plus a little bit of juice. And here is my 125, my 130. And now I've got actually $36 in profit on that second hit. And I still got two numbers out there at the bigger size. And I can leverage those wins, right? So if the 5 happens to come and it pays 50 for 1, right? I don't have to throttle it down, but I sure as hell can. And now I'm up to 210. Guess what? My next bet is 220 inside. I can take my 110 plus that, and look at this. I'm at 220 inside on my next go round. When the 7 comes right here, that 110 that I started with now is 220 inside. It's not 130 from here and pray to God. It's 220. I've leveraged it up twice, compounding my win into the next bet as a holistic thing. That's Jacob. That's Jacob from Waging Me This. Full credit to him, talking about how he does his hybrid play. This system, this style of play, this style of bankroll management can work for you, right? As you roll out here. And again, I'm only really risking the initial 130. The rest of this juice came from wins that compounded up. Now I'm at 220 on the inside on this next go round. Guess what? 2 hits in, I'm 140 in the rack. Even if the 7 comes, I'm still up. But I've got a chance now to go from 220 down to that table minimum bet. And look at the difference. Watch this. We go to 220. Check me out. There's 220 in with 5 change. We still have our 410 kicker because it's fun. But guess what? On the inside now we're getting paid 70 on these things, right? There's 50, 70, and I'm down to $10. And in one hit, I've got my $100 back. I'm effectively back to square in one hit. On my second hit for $70, right? The 5 goes down. And look at that. Black chip profit. Black chip profit, 2 hits out there at higher rev. That is leverage play. That's different. And again, I don't care how you get out of the hand. I don't care what your system is to get out of the hand. If you can make what you have on the felt in a couple of rolls, and the next time you double your size, and the next time you triple your size, and you're out there 330, then you're 440 from the same 110, that is discipline. That's a leverage play. And that works everywhere. I don't care if you're working just the horseman. Watch this. Let's do the horseman. I'll show you the exact same thing down here. Watch this, because I know people are gonna be like, John's smoking the ganja over here. What's he talking about, right? Watch this. Horseman at 5 units, right? We'll go here with it, with the rack, okay? 2 units on the don't, 1 unit in the come. Let's say that we get that win. Let's say we get the PSO, my favorite thing, right? As a don't player, they get the PSO, and we get paid here and here. I started with 5, right? But now I've got 8. Well, guess what we're going to do? We're going 3 units on the don't. We're going to make that bet bigger. And these come bets, instead of being quarters each, they're going to be here. That's too many nickels. They're going to be at 35, 35, and 35, maybe 40. I'll keep a nickel back. Right now, the next round of the horseman, even though I'm still risking the 125 I started with, the 5 units, now I got 75 and 40 out here, right? If the 40 goes to the 5 and 40 comes into the come and they 7 out now, guess what? It's 75 and it's 40 for me. That one goes away, of course. Look at my spread now. Now I've got 4 units on the don't. I've got $50 come bets. And in 2 shooters, instead of being 125, now I've got 100, 50, 50, 50. I've doubled my bet size in 2 shooters by leveraging up the wins and making the next bet bigger based on what I just won. That is leverage play. That's bankroll destruction. That's going to battle with the casino prepared. Now, am I prepared to lose the 125 if the person has the golden? Sure, right? But I'm taking the 125 and I'm making it more valuable by pressing my next shooter's outcome, right? And again, if you want to just sit there and take your 2 hits and same bet in the box and be done, fine. Totally fine, all right? So there's your little leverage talk today, all right? I'm going to do more and more of that because, again, I feel like it doesn't matter what your strategy is. If it's GM spin, if it's triple Lux, if it's my Dallas drawdown or my duck and cover or whatever, or the skill, it doesn't matter what you're playing. Skill 66 is a good example. 66 to 88 and done. Want to see that one real quick? Because that's interesting, right? Let me go back down here again. The skill 66, this is fantastic. Watch this. If you have the ball, here's a discipline play for you. Here's a thing where I challenge you if you say you have discipline. 66, right? The win comes for $21, right? You drop your dollar and you go to 88. Okay, now we all know the move. I've done this move for you a billion times, right? When this wins, $28. We'll do $28 on the win. Okay. Guess what? Your next bet is not skill set. And I would say turn your bets off. Why? Because you just won $50. In total, when you go back down to 66, you've won $50. That's your net. There it is. There's your $50. There's 20. There's 5, and there's 20. You won $50. Guess what you're going to do? Turn your bets off. And I dare you to turn your bets off. There's your $28. And the next time out, add 22 inside. You can keep this, right? You'll get your 3 change. And start your next shooter $22 higher because you won it. There's your $22. Okay. What does that look like? It looks like 110 inside, folks. That's 110 inside. So from the 66 to 88 and stop, now you're at 110 inside. And if you want to do the same move from 110, take your hit, bump them up by another 22, or if you want to, drop 9 and go 44 higher, go to 154 inside, and keep bumping them up a little at a time. And before you know it, the go up, come down move becomes worth $150 if you take the same 66 and risk it with leverage every time. I think it's an important tool that many of us don't realize we have and forget to use. So anyway, I wanted to bring that up to you today. I think it's important for us to remember ways that you can attack without having this thing to remember, this move that you have to pull off. Pull off whatever move you want to early, but then leverage it up. Make that move worth more money. Make it worth more money. All right. So, folks, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm going to do one more thing with you before I leave today, and you know what that is. It's going to be my quote of the week, which is this one here. Now, this quote of the week I tried last night to make this like work with gambling, and I can't. But I was watching a show, and a woman in the show said this to the other woman, and I was like, I almost got teared up the way she said it. So I wanted to share with you. She said, you have to feel pain because eventually the distractions stop working. Either they wear out or you do. And boy, is that a poignant thing in life, right? So I wanted to share that with you. That's a really good reminder to not be closed off and block things in your life, right? Don't block your life off. Feel the pain. You got to feel it, because when you block pain with food or alcohol or gambling or whatever's Mike tie-in or whatever it is, that will eventually stop blocking the pain, right? Or you're going to wear yourself out. So there's my quote of the day. Norm, good to see you out there, buddy. Yeah, it does. All right, guys, I'm out. You have a great Monday. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Again, if I can't tell from the chats, if you donated to St. Jude's today, I appreciate that. Drop them a 44 inside tip on the way out the door. We appreciate it. Love you all. God bless everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Have a good one. Bye.